Trying to stay sucker free in a world full of lollipops. I'm seeing all the ops. Fake news, fake views. It's an illness, the cure to the sick shit. It's the pretty realist.
Hey y'all, welcome to Pretty Realist. It's your girl Shannon Nicole, and we're going to go ahead and add balance to the conversation about if white women were 100% honest, and this is going to be if black women were 100% honest. Now, this isn't about shaming. This isn't about dragging. This is about accountability. These are actually the prompts that they'll be talking about. Everything from pressure of being a black woman to DEI. Definitely could go to Dr. Daf and actually watch the entire video, but I'm only going to do a few key points that I think are extremely relevant to the current reality and the current temperature that the country is in right now.
To always be strong because I'm black.
I am a woman who happens to be black, so the pressure is not on me to be this some type of like human, superficial person. My goal is to live my life and be the best person I can be. I don't feel pressure to do anything that I think something that's forced upon me to do.
I agree with her. I don't feel as though we're pressured. I feel like we're expected. So I feel like it's an expectation that's placed upon us. But I don't feel pressured to do it. It's just an expectation, and you do not have to be. Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of like there's this mentality within not even just the black community, but then other communities that they, like, even if you do, like, line up with one of the stereotypes, you sort of, like, feel a sense of guilt or something like, oh, like, I'm not representing us, like, in a tasteful way, regardless of it's, like, positive or negative.
I feel the pressure because I decided to be a single mom because I left my husband. And a lot of stuff, I feel like people just put more pressure on single moms. And as a black woman, I feel like we just take on everything. So that's what I feel.
I would say that I do feel the pressure, because I know that's what the default is. I have to be actively rebellious against it. So while I do feel the pressure, I'm rebellious against it. I push against it because I think that we have got to make a stand. We have to say, I am a woman. I am not superwoman, but I am a woman, and have those boundaries, because I think those stereotypes still cascade. You know, they go down from generation to generation, and you have to actively resist, because I don't think the pressure generally goes away.
And I would love for you all to respond in the comments. Do you think that maybe that pressure is self-imposed? We know that we have women who have done some incredible things in the black community. However, that strength that they carried has a lot to do with what was necessary in order for them to get through some of the most racist, discriminatory times that we have probably ever experienced in our generation. They had to be strong. You got women who had to escape slavery, people like Harriet Tubman, who actually led like hundreds and hundreds of people to a destination so that way they would be safe, who had to be able to carry a rifle and be able to protect herself. Then you had to deal with a lot of women who had to worry about being possibly raped or sexually abused while they were enslaved. So I think that at one point in this country, yes, black women had to be strong because there was so much that was put on them to not be. But that didn't come from our own people. That came from the pressures from the racist society that put the same pressures on our men. And even with our men being pressured, they still were able to protect us, and we still were appreciative of the protection that we were getting from our men. Do you all feel that maybe at some point in this country, we have taken on the role of being our own protector because we possibly didn't have a choice to be, but also because a lot of women pushed their men away because they wanted to be strong black women? So do you think that maybe this stereotype was something that we were plagued with? Because a lot of us, we tired of being no limit soldiers. Some of us want to have a soft life. Some of us don't want to be pressured to be anything other than human beings who just happen to be females. And I'm wondering, and I'm not even saying that this may possibly be the case, but I'm wondering if this is something that we kind of brought on ourselves of being the strong women, of being the single Black women, of being the business women, the entrepreneurs. They even have ways that you could get pregnant and have a child by artificial insemination, or you don't even need a man. You just want the kids. So I think that maybe society definitely, they put pressure on us. I honestly think that it has a lot to do with what type of pressure we put on ourselves. We don't give ourselves the option of being the damsel in distress. And again, we also got to be willing to be accountable for the fact that a lot of that pressure is pretty much the image that we created for ourselves. And that's just kind of where I'm at with that. Now, everyone may not agree with my own perspective, but I truly believe this strong Black women ideology is one that we put on ourselves when we decided to push our men away and we decided to join feminism. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let's get back to the video.
I would say, like, I definitely feel some pressure to be strong, and I felt it a lot, especially growing up in a majority white, like, I'm from the South. So there's always pressure to, one, not fulfill some stereotype that I know these people around me have, and not just because I was guessing it. Like, they would tell me you're like the quote unquote good Black person, you're the good Black girl. And I don't want to say that I enjoyed that, because it felt like, again, it's the whole idea of the white supremacist society that we live in, and like with these white people validating me and saying you're being like this good version of Black people or whatever it is. And I felt like I had to stay that and fulfill that to be able to fit in and not be ostracized by the people around me. That was just like what I had to do. That is kind of what it is. I'm allowing myself to not be perfect, to not be this or that. And it's been kind of freeing, honestly.
I'm happy for you.
I think it's like case by case, because sometimes it's like, you know, when you get to a certain point and you're like, okay, I just need to like there's no hiding this. But sometimes it's like, okay, like I can't be in these people's faces like looking crazy. So I guess it sort of depends on where the audience is, and also just kind of like what kind of day you're having, I would say.
But I also feel like there's a time and place for everything when it comes to me, and based on what I do for a living and what I aspire to be, I have to be very careful when it comes on to that, because saying the wrong thing sometimes can destroy what you're trying to build.
We could pretty much, depending on how we were brought up, where we were living at, we could blend in with anybody. We could be around all of these different people and have all of these different experiences and still be ourselves. And I don't know why a lot of people don't quite understand. It really is all about how you present yourself and how your attitude and how your character is when you're around other people. So I hear what they're saying as far as like that pressure, but I've never felt that pressure before, because I'm gonna be who I am. Okay. I'm gonna be me. And you could either love it or hate it. It's obvious that I am a Black woman, but I carry myself as a human being. I carry myself as a woman who just has confidence and who has a good character about herself. At least that's what I aim to put out to the world. So we put that pressure on ourselves. We don't have to be. We could be who we are, but we also know, like this woman said right here, that there is a time and a place for everything. Just because you may be with your family and you could be loud and you could twerk and you could play things and do stuff like that, you don't want to do that in the corporate sector. We have the ability and the charisma to be able to go in any fucking room, still be ourselves, and still command respect. It's just all about how we present ourselves to the world. And that's just really all I got to say about that. If you all are enjoying this video, please do not hesitate to click that bell, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends.
Society nowadays is very sensitive. It's not like it used to be. And everybody take things personal. And sometimes the truth is the truth.
Especially us.
It's going to ruffle a lot of people who's on top that you need to get you where you need to be. It's going to ruffle their feathers. And that can destroy everything. So for me, like, I pick and choose.
I feel like sometimes my community holds me hostage. I was raised in a all white neighborhood too, and I think that if you don't like fit into like a certain type of black woman, if you don't go along with like this playbook of like what you're supposed to believe about the world and what you're supposed to believe about people who are outside of the group, what are you supposed to believe politically, romantically, it's like there's this like manual that
Yes.
you gotta follow, and if you don't, it's like you're not a real black person, or you're, you know, I have slightly conservative views, like not even really that crazy, but it's like what you said, is everybody's so sensitive, and I feel like sometimes while we want to be seen as individuals, when it comes to certain things, they really do put the pressure, I feel it, the pressure on to, you know, you're not really black if you don't vote this way, or you're not really black if you don't date this kind of, marry this person. And it's very constraining.
Yes.
You know, and you sort of walk this line of like wanting to be accepted from, these are your people. It's like, there's something so painful about being rejected by people who look like you, especially when you feel like you don't like have any other place to really go that these people look like you. I mean, yes, you can form these communities where they love you, you know, they're all, you know, looks like the United Colors of Benetton, your whole group of people, but like sometimes you just want your people to just be like, embrace you. I feel like if you don't go by the playbook, you'll be punished for it.
And I wanted to elaborate on that because this plays into the position that the lady in the If White Women Were 100% Honest, when she was talking about her group of friends, when she said that I only feel comfortable, or I only want to be around my own people, meaning all of my friends are white, and I don't seek out relationships, or I don't seek out friendships with other black people. If you haven't seen the video, definitely make sure you all check it out. I'm in that space right now as being someone who is conservative thinking, who did vote a specific type of way that nobody in my family has voted this way, has probably ever voted this way that I know of. None of my friends that I know of voted for Trump, but because I did, I felt like there was a bit of a disconnect with the people who I have known for so long. And now all of a sudden, because I'm not only a content creator and I'm publicly out there, I am secretly being judged. So they haven't quite come out and said like, no, we don't fuck with you because you voted for that orange man. They just ain't talking to me. Like, they just don't deal with me. I don't get the text messages. I don't talk to anybody. Nobody's reaching out. Nobody calls you to say happy birthday. And I mean, like, I'm fine with that. I'm not going on a rant. But I noticed the silence. I noticed that I was kind of like pushed out of that circle of acceptance from my peers because of how I voted. It does hurt you. Because you're like, damn, like, so I can't have a difference of opinion. I can't vote different than you. That just makes you automatically assume that I'm a bad person because of the way that I voted. That I'm a bad person because I choose to live my life this way. I don't go to church, or I don't read the Bible as often, and I'm more spiritual, and I'm okay with having an altar for my ancestors. I don't believe my ancestors are demonic, but you do. Like, we have a tendency as the black community of being accepting to everyone else. We're accepting to every other community but our own, if our own doesn't think like that. We're not a monolith. It's sad to see that an election was like the final tear in our community. We were already in a divisive mode when it comes to certain topics, but I feel like that this election alone, it damn near like split the Red Sea. And I don't know how we're going to heal from it. I don't know what we're going to need to do in order to do it. But with the current reality and the current situation that's going on, not even mainly on a political level, but on a spiritual level, we have to get back to a place to where we judge based on character and not political affiliation. Hello? We got to get back to that place, because if we have more conversations like this, and maybe people would kind of understand, and we also got to be mindful of who is in the room that is a foundational Black American. Everybody from the diaspora is not going to understand your experience. They could say that they do, but we have seen on several occasions that people from other cultures that may associate themselves with being Black or maybe categorized as Black, they don't have the same experiences as Black Americans.
African Americans in a very interesting way, which is actually both the universities and the corporate employers are literally, this is true, they literally import Africans so that they don't have to hire African Americans.
Wow.
Because they still count as Black. There was a great story. The thing that woke me up to this, there was
They
a story
trick
in
the
New York
Black,
Times 20 years
the
ago.
American Indians make y'all believe y'all are Africans and that y'all are brothers to these people.
Back when the New York Times could talk about these things honestly. And it quoted actually Henry Louis Gates and Lonnie Guinier at the time at Harvard Law School, basically observing that African Americans were not benefiting from affirmative action because Harvard had figured out that they could import Nigerians. Right, and again, it's just like, right, the Nigerians are great, they're very smart, they're very productive, it's fantastic. You know, all other things being equal, you'd like to have as many of them in your country, but like, is that really why we're...
But it's the truth. We need to have more conversations with each other and seeing what we could do in order to break these stereotypes that may or may not be ours.
That's interesting. I feel like it's also who you have around you too. And my experience may be a little bit different. I grew up in an all Black neighborhood, went to Black schools, did marching band, was exposed to HBCUs at in elementary school. And what we always say, we had what we call kitchen table talk. And so there are some things that I would say in the kitchen with my folks that I would never say out in public because, for one, I'm not going to be delusional and think, well, I can just be this person who's just speak her mind. I got bills I got to pay. Keep that real. And also because my profession, I do customer service. And my view on something may not be her view or his view. So I have to be mindful of what I'm going to say. But it depends on the audience as well, too. I think you said it before. When you are in that community with people and can express yourself, and be like, sometimes you got to educate our people. They think, like, listen, that if you talk educated, you are a white girl. That is so crazy to me. But it's just like a trickle down effect from white supremacy and all the kind of stuff that, we can go on top of that all day because it's like almost beating a dead horse. And I feel like, with that being said, I can be myself, but I also learn not to have to code switch because I used to do that years ago. And I'm like, why are you code switching? Do you white folks ain't gonna like you anyway? You gonna be yourself. I'm gonna have to be who I am. So I'm professional. I show up work on time. I do the best I can be. And if you can't accept me for that, I don't know what else you're gonna do because their perception of me is already made up. No matter how good you are, no matter how proper you talk, no matter how much money you have in your bank or what car you drive, you would never be enough to that person who has their mind made up. So.
But see, that's what I'm saying. That's what I just mentioned. That's that. You're already putting pressure on yourself that some people that you ain't never met before don't like you because of your race. You're already putting yourself in a box though. And you don't have to. Everybody that you see that may not look like you is not already having a set thought about who you are as a person. Everybody is not a monolith. Everybody does not think the same. For all you know, that person that you see in front of you that may look like a white person may very well be mixed. They may have a Black wife. They may just not be racist because I could go anywhere around anybody and my intuition and my discernment is going to tell me whether or not I need to be there or not. Perfect example, quick story time, right? I used to work in a Spanish restaurant. Never worked in a Spanish restaurant in my entire life. Worked in restaurants, worked around white people, Hispanic people. This restaurant, for some reason, was very different. It felt different. The energy felt different. The way that the managers treated me was different. I noticed that stereotypes existed among the staff. Like I noticed that there was no Black men that were working there. There was one gay Black man and he was extremely flamboyant. He was the only Black man that worked there, and he was the hostess. So y'all put the most flamboyantly gay man who happens to be black to greet your customers. The bartender, I noticed what kind of bartender. The only people that was of any other descent, aside from black and white and mixed, they were Hispanics in the back cooking. And even the managers back there, they were white. And it wasn't a problem for me that they were white. It was the energy that I felt. The way that I would ask questions and they would kind of like write me off. The way that I would ask for assistance and I felt as if I didn't get it. The difficulties that they presented to me when I was trying to take the test to become a bartender. And I left that job. I just left. And this is coming from someone who has worked around different races of people, who have always had no problem with diversity in my job. And that place felt different. So I knew that those people didn't like me. But every person that I go to who's white, I'm not going to automatically assume that you don't like me. Because I could look at her and meet you out. I could go to a place around some black people and I'm going to get mugged harder being in a place with some black people than I'm going to get mugged being in a place with some white people. And this is some real life shit. So that's one of the reasons why we have got to stop thinking that every time we see a white person, that just because I'm black, that they're going to look at me different. Until they show you that they about that time, then quit putting them in that position. You're already dimming your aura. And just like you got intuition and discernment, they got the same shit. Just saying. We got to be careful with that. That's a stereotype and a pressure point. That's pressure that we put on ourselves that is unnecessary.
I hold back a lot because I just got a temper and an attitude. And I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a fire sign. So a lot of stuff get on my nerves. I just like hold back. But I do see like if I'm driving my car and somebody want to get over, it's kind of because you're black, they kind of make it seem like if I get over on her, she's going to have an attitude or she going to try to do something to me. And 90% of the time, I'm like, go, because I'm passive. I don't care, go, just drive. But I feel like as a black person, people feel like you're aggressive or like you're going to do something or you get into an argument in the store or something's going to go left. And I'll be like, no, that's not me. Just
see what I'm saying? But you already put that out there to the world, that you got a bad attitude, that you got a temper. But then when somebody say that you think that everybody look at black women as being aggressive, no, sis, it's you. It is you. It is how you present yourself to the world. When you already have that mindset of this is the attitude that I have, this is who I am, it dims your aura. And people are going to see your shit. They're going to see you for who you are. You a chick. Your voice is already kind of raspy. So that's another thing. Your voice, and it's not, I'm not saying that her voice is bad or that it's nasty or anything like that. I have a different type of voice. But if you already are coming into a situation to where I can look at you and I can tell by your face, you got this resting bitch face, and then your attitude ain't really helping in the situation at all. You already put it out there that you're gonna be problematic. So why do we need to do this, sisters? There's not a place that I've ever been in, honestly. I have never been in a public place and been discriminated. Never. Not going to go get my nails done, not going to a restaurant, not going to a store. I've never been followed around a store. I've never had somebody say, oh, well, you got to sit in the back. I've never had anybody look at me like I wasn't going to tip. I always walk into a restaurant with a smile on my face, saying hello. I have manners. And I have an aura. I'm a scholar. People like me. You walk into a place, your smile, a woman's smile is the best makeup she will ever have. It is God's way of giving you makeup before you even have to go buy it. Your smile, your eye contact, how you carry yourself, how you present yourself. Is your back straight? We're women. Use what you got to get what you want. You want respect? Use it as if you respect yourself. You're going to get respect if you respect yourself. Simple as that. Now I'm kind of wondering, what was the real reason that she left her husband? I'm sorry, this is messy me. Did you leave your husband or did he leave you? I'm just saying. Let me not judge. We listen, we don't judge. But shit, you didn't pretty much let us be. You didn't pretty much put it out there that you toxic, sis. That's just kind of where I'm at. But I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think.
Just go, but I do have a slick mouth, so I do hold back a lot, and I just 90% of the time just try to stay in my lane because I'm like, I don't want to be always looked at as that person anyway, even though they do see us as that person. So that's
You look at yourself as that person. The fuck?
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. I don't know if you guys somebody want to go first.
I don't know what even
Stereotypes start from somewhere, you know? It's like, it doesn't just come out of thin air. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, Asians have this, they can't drive, right? Everybody has like this thing where it's like there's enough of people in that group where you can say, okay, this tends to be the tendency for like a particular group. And I would definitely say that there are some stereotypes about Black people that are true, and I don't think they're all bad. You know what I mean? I think that some of the stereotypes about us being like more in our body, we are more in touch with like our emotions, we're more expressive, incredibly creative musically with art and all of those things. Those stereotypes, I think, are beneficial, but I think that the stereotypes that like we want to deny that are still a problem, and everybody else sees. I'm going to use it as an example. Like, we've got a huge out of wedlock rate in our community, and I know it's painful. I know it's really hard to talk about. I've been a single mom. I got pregnant in college, not on purpose. You know, had to do the WIC and the welfare and all of that, try to get through school. And so I don't come from a position of like, oh, I'm so much better, because I've been in that situation. But I think that like we gotta be a little bit more honest. We don't necessarily have to, you know, acknowledge it to anyone else. We don't have to be accountable to anyone else, but I feel like we need to be honest with ourselves. I feel like our grandmothers, our mothers, our friends, our sisters need to be more open about like how incredibly hard it is to do it by yourself. Yeah. I think we need to be more honest about like, you know, how that just, it's scary. How you coming home from work, you're 5 minutes late to pick up your kid from daycare, they want to charge you $30 a minute, and you're stuck in traffic and you just weep. And there's nobody you can call and say, I can't do all of it. And you feel like, I gotta be strong, I gotta have it put together. But we aren't honest about like how truly hard it is. And I think that that's a stereotype that has been harmful for us. And if not acknowledging it outside of the community, we don't have to do that. But we do need to acknowledge it within our community.
You know, the crazy thing about it is that like, how were you all not observant if you come from a family? Well, if your mom was a single mom, that was enough for me. Okay. My mom was a single mom. She got married when I was 10. My grandmother, there wasn't no man in the house for us. My grandmother was, you know, back in the day when Black folks actually all lived in the same house, 10, 11, 12 people under one roof. We was on that time when I was coming up. And I didn't have my dad in my life. And I saw so much that I probably should not have seen as a child because my mom was young and she was just trying to live her life and found herself in bad situations. A lot of the ways that I dealt with relationships, how I've learned how to deal with relationships, I've learned from watching my mom. Or I've learned from watching my peers. One of my good friends when I was young, she got pregnant with like her senior year in high school. And I saw how hard it was. I saw what she went through. I saw the stress. And when I made the mistake, I had one. I had got pregnant myself. I did not go through with that pregnancy. You know, at the, you know, request. Well, I wouldn't even say the request. My mom was just like, we ain't gonna have no kids in this house. And I was young. That was all I needed. Thought that I was really about to go out here and try to have more kids when I know I'm not ready, when I know I'm broke, when I saw what my mom went through. No, we got to be observant. We need young women to be observant to what their moms is going through. You got to decide for yourself, okay, do I really want this type of life? Is this the type of life that I want for myself? Do I have goals, dreams, ambitions? And is a baby going to slow that down? When you're in a relationship with a man, and I think that not even just younger women, all women need to think to themselves when they're dating somebody and you spending time with this person. Before you lay down and have a child, you got to think about whether or not you want this person in your life forever. Is this the man that you want to be with for the rest of your life? Is this the man that because you stuck with this person? All while that baby is here, until that baby gets old enough, even when that baby becomes an adult, you stuck with that person. So it's just time for us to also be more observant and less reactive. Be more about chasing our goals and chasing something that is going to benefit us and less about a feeling that's only lasting for a short period of time that could create lifelong results. That's where we need to be at right now, because it's real easy to just be like, oh, well, it's hard being a single mom and I should, you know what I mean? But if you've been around it, you've seen what your mom went through, you've seen what your friends, your sisters or whoever, your auntie, if you saw that it wasn't easy for them, use that as your mental image to not do it. And the baby fever will go away. That's just all I'm saying. Everybody makes mistakes, but it's all about whether or not you keep making the same mistake. Like if you had one baby as a single mom, that's fine. But now you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not a mistake. That's not that you're tired of the judgment. That's not that you're tired of the stereotype that single mothers have. That's not that you want better for your child because you don't know any better. So you're going to make sure that the next time you're going to do it a lot better. No, that's the same mistake that keep happening because you're being reactive to a situation that only has a good feeling for a moment and not thinking about the repercussions and the long-lasting effects that it may have on you. And we got to get out of that mindset. There's one in particular that I really wanted to talk about, and I'm about to go to it. Y'all gonna like this one. So make sure you all stick around. While you at it, go ahead and click that like button, subscribe to the channel.
I secretly resent movements like BLM and DEI.
Oh, shit. I knew the one in the white shirt was gonna put that thumb up. They laughing. The ones on the other side like, what the fuck's so funny?
I secretly resent them sometimes because of how a lot of people on the other side of the aisle will use certain like outlier things to discredit the entirety of the movement. Like the idea that if a black person is in like a high like a very intense role or whatever, that you don't usually see a lot of black people in, they're going to say it's really just because they're filling a quota or whatever, and discrediting the accomplishments that black person really worked hard for to get to that place. So that's kind of why I would say I don't resent the movement as a whole, just like how sometimes it can be twisted to discredit people who actually work so incredibly hard.
That's your fault.
Where they are. And
it's your fault.
A lot of times you're just seen as like, oh, a diversity hire, and it's just so obnoxious.
It's patronizing.
But that's your fault. You all created that. We never needed DEI. We already had affirmative action. We never needed DEI. We already had the EEOC. So why did you all need DEI? We never heard what DEI was until within like the last 7 years. I've never heard of DEI, and I've had jobs since I was 12 years old. I was hired because I was qualified to do the damn job. In my role right now, I'm hired because I was qualified to do the damn job. But do I see the effects of DEI? You damn right I do. Because it never been, like I said in the last video about the white women, it didn't benefit y'all. And y'all ate into that. Y'all bit into that damn apple and thought that it was going to work for you. And it didn't. Because as I mentioned before, a lot of the times, because of DEI, You don't know who black in that role. You're not Black American. They may be Native American, they may be Indian, they may be Haitian, they may be Nigerian, they may be Jamaican, they may be from West Indies, but they not Black American. So you really don't know. It's about diversity. Yeah, diversity meaning foreigners and immigrants, not your black ass. It means equity. That means making those people from those third world countries come over here and have a bit of equality. Because they gonna make us some money. We know this. Inclusion is they gonna kind of make it seem as if you're included in this equation somehow. Because these people that's elevating in the career, they look like you, but they not really like you. They just like you based on their skin complexion. That's what DEI was, because the only thing that it benefited was those people I just named and white women. And Google tells us this. This is something you can look up. And y'all could have looked this shit up before y'all decided to boycott Target, but y'all didn't want to. Because when you boycotted Target, you hurt a lot of black businesses. You did. In my opinion, DEI is like, it's a mask for covert racism, quiet discrimination. That's what DEI was, because it was never necessary. We don't need another acronym in order to say that, hey, look, discrimination is going on in the workplace. Ain't got nothing to do with a fucking quota. Y'all made this. This is what I'm saying. I could tell that she's liberal because y'all made these decisions for it to be this way. Self-inflicted wounds, self-inflicted pressure that you put on yourself by thinking that DEI was working for you. That's all I got to say about that.
You know, it's like they automatically just assume, and there's just this level of like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes it's like a video game. It's like, oh, we want to check all the boxes. So we're going to get a black lesbian with one leg.
Labels. Labels.
Who's autistic, you know, so we can just check all the boxes. And you're not even seeing me. You don't see me. I'm just this thing you can check off. Yeah. And like, does it matter that I'm good? Does it matter that I'm smart? Or are you just doing this to like make yourself feel better? Because as soon as I walk out of line from what you think I'm supposed to be, then all of a sudden, then I become the uppity Negro. Like, how dare you? Don't you know that we are the reasons why you have all of the things that you have? Like, how dare you uppity Negress to like have anything to say about anything? Don't you see all the things we do for you? Yes, that is so. It enrages me. It doesn't mean that those things aren't important if they're implemented in the right way. But I don't like oh my gosh, there's this term, the soft bigotry of low expectations. Mm. And people don't think that is racist, but that is extremely racist. When you look at me and you say, oh, you poor thing, let me save you. I want to punch them in the throat. Like, no, I don't. Look at me, I am intelligent, I can do it. Give me the chance. I don't want that to be the first thing people think about me if I were to be in a position. I want to be excellent. And I want you to be hiring me because I'm excellent, not because, I am the crippled black lesbian, that just gets all the boxes checked for you.
That's what DEI did. That's what DEI did.
Honestly, I don't feel like only black people benefited from the DEI. It wasn't specifically and only for black people, but black people became the poster child because it boiled down to, let's just help the weakest links get a leg up. And I feel like that's the connotation that grew. But I think the actual origination of DEI and of Black Lives Matter, we rallied together because of Trayvon Martin. And we became a community, and we stood for something as a community. And I feel like that's the image of Black Lives Matter that I want to think of when I think of Black Lives Matter. And of course, it always it comes with the All Lives Matter and like the Blue Lives Matter and those type of things try to tarnish the reputation that we built from those movements.
No, the reputation was tarnished when the people in the founders was stealing from the community and doing all kinds of money laundering schemes. That's when the reputation was tarnished. All lives matter, white lives matter, blue lives matter. None of that shit tarnished the reputation of BLM. It was the founders and the people themselves. It's when you all included Antifa in y'all riots. Your peaceful protests went from burning down whole neighborhoods and people losing their lives and going to jail. That's what ruined and tarnished the image of Black Lives Matter. It had a good foundation, but it turned to something else. It turned into a communist community of people and still is. They only come out whenever it's a high profile situation. Black Lives Matter is not going from city to city helping out situations when it comes to Black people getting killed out here in these streets. There was just several situations that took place in this country. None of their asses was there. So let's be honest now. This is what I mean when I say we need the 92% to start being honest. That you guys were conned and still being conned in order to support these terrorist groups, because that's pretty much what they are. Just saying.
I still feel a lot of pride just thinking about like how like we have the ability, like it's not always us being like against each other. We can stand together and make a change, and I feel like that's what Black Lives Matter truly should be.
I agree with everyone. I feel like everything has its benefits and negative sides to them. And not all good things are what they seem or portrayed to be. I feel like for a lot of Black people especially, and a lot of people in general, if it wasn't for this, a lot of us wouldn't get certain opportunities. I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten an opportunity simply because they needed one Black girl, one dark-skinned girl to fill that spot. And it's like, even with my daughter's school, my daughter goes to a majority white school, the best school, one of the top schools in Texas. And you can count on one hand how many kids that is our color is in that school, that entire elementary school. And I'm grateful for it because it's helping my daughter. She's able to see all aspects. And if it wasn't for that, she wouldn't be in that school. She wouldn't be able to get that level of education, that the quality that these kids are getting, if it wasn't for that being set in place. But like I said, not things that's deemed to be good is always that great. You know, there's downsides to everything.
Yeah, I think everything has its pros and cons. Like what Black Lives Matter, what it was made for was for Trayvon Martin and DEI. I think the people who mostly benefited from it were women, if I'm not mistaken.
Specifically white women.
Yeah, white. Exactly. You see what I'm saying?
Thank
So
you.
it's like, and it's kind of like we've always been scapegoat. It don't matter if the sky turned purple or somebody black did it. They did you know, it's like we're gonna always be the scapegoat. So my thing is like, are we gonna keep on just fussing and fighting about it, or are we gonna do something about it? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I am no type of person to be some type of organized activist of anything like that. I would say that, but I'm gonna say like, it's very nuanced, which is a lot of things very nuanced. There's no right or no wrong answer to it. Like, people are validated by their feelings. And it doesn't help that the founder of Black Lives Matter was a person who was stealing money either. So that doesn't help that she was around here buying mansions and going on trips when there are Black and brown people getting murdered in the street from police who do have gangs in their organization.
No, sis, no. Stop that. It ain't just police. Come on now. Come on now. Stop it. It ain't just police. Because why is it that Black Lives Matter only matter when they getting shot by a police officer? Why are they mattering when another Black person shoot another Black person? Do Black Lives Matter to Black people? It should. That's the conversation that needs to be having. That's the marches that needs to be taking place. Where's the pastors at? The preachers at? That's when Black lives should matter, when another Black person is taking another Black life. Because for some reason, and I mentioned this in another video, we the only ones that seem to got Black on Black crime in the spotlight, as if it ain't happening in nobody else's community. But that's a stereotype that was put on the Black community, that we're just inherently violent. Not only are we just single mothers out in this bitch, we just inherently violent. Never mind the fact that, like that lady just said next to her, she got to take her daughter to a white school in order for her to get the best education. Where's Black Lives Matter? That money that lady stole, you couldn't build a school? You couldn't build a school. You couldn't build a hospital. You couldn't build a grocery store. You couldn't build anything that will allow Black lives to actually matter. When it comes to the job field, when it comes to the education field. So did Black lives matter or did Black dollars matter? These are questions. Questions we need to ask.
I see everyone's point.
I see, yeah.
It's only they know if it's genuine or not.
Yeah.
Like it's weird when like they come to rallies and then they start shit they feel anger in our place and then they act in ways that maybe are like they go to people like peaceful protests and then they start throwing bricks in the windows or they start like agitating the police just because they want to make that like a activist kind of movement. But for the people who follow the rules of like true allyship, like if we're saying this is a peaceful protest and we keep it within that, then that's what happens. But if they like start stirring the pot, like are you really here because you want to make change or are you just wanting to have that adrenaline rush and like use this as like a way to pat yourself on the back?
I think
She spilled some tea. We be peaceful out there. When the Black folks be protesting, it be the additional allies that be causing up the problems. Interesting. See, this is why I'm glad that we having this conversation and I got both of them. I got the white woman and the Black woman. Because if you look at the one from the white woman, remember when a lady was saying, do you think that it's okay for them to burn down white businesses? So she just pretty much made it clear who been burning down them white businesses.
I beg your pardon.
We Scary Movie 3 experiences shape perspectives, right? All of these women, they do have shared views, but I think that maybe they were able to not be what a lot of people may stereotype it to be. They were able to really have this good conversation. And they didn't weaponize their honesty against each other. Like when the lady in the white shirt said that she has conservative views, and I don't know if they was just listening and not judging, but I'm glad that nobody jumped on her case. It was just like, oh, so did you vote for Trump? You know what I mean? They handled it very well. Now, Black women, we are allowed to be honest, all right? Without being labeled bitter, broken, or disloyal. These women were great examples of that we can actually have a conversation and we don't have to be rash towards each other. We don't have to throw darts at each other, and we could be honest, we could be sincere. And I truly think that because of those masks, they kind of allowed them to be a lot more vulnerable. Since we have this stereotype that Black women got to be strong and we loud and we that we come at you with our nails. No, I think it allowed them to be a little bit more vulnerable, and that it allowed them to be in a space to where they felt safe to share their questions about how things are going, their feelings and their thoughts, and ways that they believe that we need to improve as a culture of women. And I really, really think that is important. This wasn't about tearing anyone down. This was about clarity, self-awareness, and growth, because we got a lot of it to do. If this conversation made you think, good. If it made you uncomfortable, you're going to have to sit with that. All right. And I'll see you all next time. Remember, don't shoot the messenger. Only receive the message. If it's for you, receive it. If it's not, leave it. Peace.